Are you getting hit too much in your boxing training and sparring? Well, lucky for you, I've got 4 reasons why you're getting hit and 4 ways to solve it. If you want more in-depth boxing tutorials, then make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. This is stuff you don't want to miss out. You're not going to see it on my TikTok or Instagram. Tip number 1. One of the most basic reasons you could be getting hit too much is because you're putting too much weight on your front foot. This means you're going to have less space between you and the opponent's punches. That means less reaction room and less room for defense. Try to put more of your weight on your back foot. I go by the 60%, 40% rule, meaning I put 60% of my weight on my back foot, followed by 40% on my front foot. If you watch the defensive greats of all time, James Toney, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, when they're in their defensive positions, they've got 60% of their weight on their back foot, 40 on their front foot. This way they're further away from the target, they can dip, they can pull back, and they can defend punches because they see it all coming. This is not to say you can't put weight on your front foot. If you're more experienced, know how to manipulate your weight and pull back, it's fine. But for beginners and for people that feel like they're just taking too many punches, the best way is to give yourself space to react and see everything coming. Tip number 2. Now, probably the most annoying reason why you're getting hit is flinching. Flinching can be so frustrating. You can feel like you're never going to solve this problem. However, there is solutions. It's not magic, it's not going to be solved overnight, but it takes practice of high-paced combinations with a partner and sparring. See, you're not going to get better at boxing if you're not working with a partner. You have to be in there with someone. If you're still afraid of getting hit, practice choreographed combinations with a partner where you defend and keep your eyes open. Once you can anticipate the punches and you know what's coming, you're much more likely to defend it. And you're much more likely to keep your eyes open when defending it, which is so important. When fighters can't see a punch coming, that's normally when they get knocked out. Try to keep your eyes open, practice keeping your eyes on the target. Tip number 3. Now, this next reason is normally due to pure laziness. I see even the most high-level fighters get caught out because they're doing this wrong. When finishing a combination, they leave themselves naked. Now, when I say this, obviously I don't mean without clothes. I mean not finishing on a defensive move. If you leave your punches out here, you're just exposed to get counterpunched. We call this bad technique admiring your work. So if you leave a punch out there and you're watching how beautiful that punch was and how nicely it landed, you're bound to get caught, especially if you're in there with a good counterpuncher. What we want to do is finish our combinations with at least 2 defensive moves. If I finish on a hook, I'm going to use 2 rolls to be defensively aware and defensively responsible for myself. This is like your insurance in the ring. If you're not insured, you're going to pay the price. Insure your work and defend yourself after throwing. Now, this doesn't necessarily just mean a head movement. This could mean bringing your hands back to your chin nice and fast and protecting yourself. This could also mean taking a defensive step back after throwing your punches. It can mean taking a pivot. And it can mean moving your head. Tip number 4. And the final reason, maybe one of the most overlooked reasons in boxing, is that your head is constantly on a straight line. Now, in boxing, we have an invisible line called the center line. If your head is on this line, you're susceptible to straight punches. An opponent could close his eyes, throw a straight punch, and land on you because your head is in the same place every time. To be less susceptible to these punches, we have to move our head either side of the center line, meaning we can be on the right of the center line and we can be on the left of the center line. This is a great base for your head movement. It teaches you how to slip on one side and even how to roll to the other sides of the center line. Now, a great way to practice this while shadowboxing is taping a line to a mirror. From here, you can watch yourself moving either side of the line. Practice it with your punches as well as your defense. And worst case scenario, if you don't have a mirror, you don't have tape, it's not to worry. As long as you have a solid boxing stance where your feet are parallel to each other, you can use your knees as a guideline. You can slip to your right knee to be on the right side of the center line, and you can slip to your left knee to be on the left side of the center line, as well as the rolls and punching on either side of the center line. However, I don't want you to make the mistake of bringing your head outside of your stance. When your head is outside of your stance and you get caught, most likely you're gonna get dropped or gonna get wobbled. Keep your head within your boxing stance and stay balanced while you defend. If you found these tips helpful, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting more of these in-depth boxing tutorials, but what you guys can do for me is comment what you want to see next. If you give me your problems, I'll help solve them. I hope this video helped. Thank you guys for watching.